A real NASCAR driver now owns Ricky Bobby's house. Recently retired NASCAR Cup Series driver Kevin Harvick and his wife Delana completed a purchase of Ricky Bobby's home just this past October, so a little over 2 weeks ago, and they closed for $6.75 million, which is quite the steal considering it was listed for $9 million. So Kevin Harvick and his wife in retirement here playing the frugal game. I think we can all respect that. And, it's unfortunate, right? But with Ricky Bobby retiring and his wife Susan getting older and the kids moved out of the house, downsizing just made sense. So they sold the home off to the Harvicks, who will now hopefully embrace it the same way that the Bobbies did. Having gigantic fast food feasts in that grand dining room, celebrating it with hopefully Grandpa Chip's ghost somewhere around them at all times. He seemed like a very nice man. I hate the way those kids treated him. Maybe they'll find his medals buried somewhere in the home. However, we do know that the house is haunted. That was documented by one Cal Naughton Jr. when he moved in with Ricky's ex-wife, who's now his wife, but they don't live in the home anymore, at least as far as we know. It could be a weird sort of polyamorous type of situation there. I don't think that's how it is, though. But the Harvicks now live there, and the house does come with some amenities. Like I said, it comes with an infinity pool, a ghost, which is always interesting. That's an absolute wild card right there. It could be a friendly ghost like Casper, or you could end up like The Conjuring. I don't think there's an in-between there. There's no, middle-of-the-road ghost when you think about it, but the Harvicks are about to find out. It apparently does also have a great sound system for both TV and for stereo. However, the two don't work very well together. At least Cal couldn't figure it out, and Ricky couldn't either. But why would you want to listen to both of them at the same time? I've wondered that question a lot since 2006, and now as an adult with my own house, with a TV and a stereo, I completely understand, because sometimes I don't want to listen to the TV, but I want to listen to what's happening with the music or the podcast. I want to turn the stereo on, which is just a Bluetooth speaker, but it's stereo nonetheless. And at the times, I've also struggled to find the right match in terms of the volume. So I feel Cal's pain right there. Like I said, it does come with a few other amenities. There's a putting green, a billiards room. The whole house is a great looking house. It's maybe a little McMansion-y, but it fits Lake Norman perfectly, and it fits Ricky Bobby for sure. It does have 4 garage spaces, 4 covered spaces, and 4 parking spots in the driveway for a total of 12 vehicles. I don't know how many the Harvicks have, but eventually Keelan's going to drive, so you're going to need a spot for him right there. It does also have a beach area down by the water. No word on if Ricky or his wife ever did any sort of tanning down there, but I can only imagine that it was not suitable for children if they were down there. Overall, though, the Harvicks get a great property, 6 bedrooms, 9 baths, which is a lot. And I do find it funny that Kevin Harvick did say on the Dale Jr. Download last week that once he retired from the Cup Series, he and his wife were going to downsize their home. And they downsized to a 12,000 square foot mansion on the shores of Lake Norman, which that's a great downsize. If you're asking me, it's only about 10,000 square feet bigger than my home, which is quite the difference in pay levels there. But good for the Harvicks. The Bobbies get out. They make some money off of it. They had a full renovation done to the property in 2018. Susan and Ricky can now go and live off wherever they want to in the backwoods of North Carolina. Potentially they go down to Key West. Ricky Bobby strikes me as a Key West guy if I was ever going to name one. And now with the kids off in college too, they don't have to worry about anything there. I do hope the Harvicks do have some fun with this, whether it's Delana dressing up like Carly Bobby when they first were together, her and Ricky before their unfortunate divorce, or, they have the grand feast with all the fast food in the dining room, or potentially the kids just being absolute heathens at some point just for the video, which would be really funny if they were able to pull that off. But I will say, this house, while it did cost $6.75 million, also comes with a hefty homeowners association fee to the tune of basically $31,000 a year. And hopefully there's some neighborhood security that comes along with that $31,000 to keep Reese Bobby and his cougars out of your property. Because Reese is going to go out, he's going to get intoxicated some night, and he's going to try to drive up and go to Ricky's house once again. Ricky's not going to be there. He's going to open the door, he's going to see Kevin Harvick, and he's going to be like, my son had curly hair. Kevin Harvick does not. And he's going to freak out. There's going to be a cougar in that Mercury Cougar. And I just always wanted him to drive a Mercury Cougar. That's where that came from in my brain. I know he didn't drive a Mercury Cougar in the movie, but when I think about it, if you're going to have a cougar, he should also drive a cougar. So Yeah, and it's just not going to end well for him. The police will likely be called. They'll get kicked out of an Applebee's once again. Lucius, hopefully, RIP to real life Lucius, completely forgot about that. He's not going to be stopping by the house. Jeez, I got to get out of this right now. I walked into a cul-de-sac and I got to turn around and get back out. Kevin Harvick and his wife, they've bought Ricky Bobby's house, which is actually really cool and kind of weird. And I hope that the Harvicks see the humor in the situation. After all, it is a great looking house. You can find it on Zillow, and I'll post a couple pictures of it throughout this video as well. But, overall, it is very funny that Kevin Harvick, an actual NASCAR driver, has now purchased a fictional NASCAR driver's home. Probably the most famous fictional NASCAR driver outside of Cole Trickle, more than likely, and Rowdy Burns. At least to a newer generation, considering Days of Thunder came out in '90, this came out in 2006. I would absolutely love to see a sequel to Ricky Bobby. Talladega Nights 2, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby, I don't know, it doesn't matter. I did see that Adam McKay or somebody said that they had initially come up with this idea for a second movie where Ricky Bobby would go over to Europe and race in Formula One, which would be downright hilarious. Formula One will never greenlight that project though, because they have zero fun out there, especially when it comes to anything comedy that could mock them and make Americans look good, of course. But when Jean Girard comes over here, it's never a big issue. FOM didn't have an issue with that. Regardless, the Harvicks purchased Ricky Bobby's house. I hope they have Cal Naughton Jr. over to show him what they've done with the place. Ricky, of course, already knows, but I don't know if he and Cal are still on good terms this late in life either. But overall, it is very funny. Hopefully they do have some fun with it as well. Hopefully we see some videos out from them. I don't follow Delana Harvick on Twitter just mainly because she tweets in like emojis, or at least uses a dozen for every tweet. And I just can't handle that because, well, I'm an adult. So either way, hopefully they have some fun with it. It is very cool that this happened. And, $6.75 million for a lakefront home in Lake Norman, 12,000 square feet, 6 bedrooms, 9 baths, comes with a infinity pool, a jacuzzi, a beach, a dock, a billiards room, a putting green off to the side, a ghost, a Grandpa Chip. I don't know what more you could have wanted out of it. So, congrats to them. Pretty cool story. Funny story on top of that. Either way, like and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on TikTok @BreakHard, Instagram and Twitter @BreakHardBlog.